if you ever go to any networking event and you start to chat with someone, the number one thing you should ask them, and remember this, is what is the best introduction I could make for you? That is the
Whoa.
best question you can ask someone else. So instead of you talking about yourself for an hour, let them talk about who they would like to meet, because then they're going to see that you're a helper. You're there to help them. You help them. You're there to make them more successful. And that will go a very long way to improve your personal brand, your relationship with that person, and building trust with someone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to my show. My name is Tiffany, and this is Unveiling Journeys. I have an amazing guest for you today. But real quick, I want to tell you just a smidge about me. I love people. I love hanging out with people, meeting new people, hearing cool stories. And what ends up happening is I get them on my calendar for like a half hour, and I'm like, whoa, you're so cool. Come on my show. But also, wow, can I get to know more cool people just like you? And they're like, yeah, here's my friend, here's my whatever. And I'm like, wait, do we have time? Can I tell you about me? And I'm like, wait, who do you know that I need to know? Right? Like you actually have the ability and the right to ask for a referral if you want. And that's how the small business, medium business world goes round and round. But what happened was the people I've met are so darn cool that I cannot contain them. And I needed to share them with everyone. And so that's why I try to have some of the neatest people I've met on my show so I can share them with you guys and be able to bring you all of the wonderful things they're doing in the world. So with that, I get to bring on my guest. I'm very excited because through the power of networking, multiple people were like, Mike, do you know Tiff? Tiff, do you know Mike? I'm like, why do we need to know each other? Let's meet right away. And so we finally just did that. New besties over here, and we have so much in common. And I love what he's all about. So, welcome, Mike. Thank you for coming and being on my show on such quick notice. Tell everybody a little bit about what you're up to right now.
Thanks so much, Tiff. Listen, it's such an honor and a pleasure to meet another super connector. You obviously put that on your LinkedIn profile. I'm a super connector myself. I find joy and life in connecting people. And so I've literally found my spiritual mission in life is to connect as many people as possible and also inspire other people to become super connectors themselves. And so today, everything I do is all about connecting cool people together. And so what does that really mean? I've got a podcast called The Super Connectors. I'm going to get you on the show for sure. Can't wait to get you as a guest on there. We've had like 31,000 followers, 73 guests, people from every walk of life. We've had guests who are 21 years old, and we've got 15,000 community members.
Oh,
And then
wow.
we've got people in their 60s who've been doing this for 30, 40 years. And so I'm always super glad to meet other super connectors, to build a community of super connectors. And so with that, we do events, we do podcasts, we do networking events, we do collaborations, we do community building, we do partnerships, so much stuff going on. Then my business, I'm a startup founder. I've built a platform called IntroStars, which is a platform for super connectors. It's a community of super connectors for people to send referrals to each other and reward each other on success. So really everything I do falls under that tree of super connection. So, you're definitely part of that game.
I love that so much. I didn't even know about this space until people were like, Tiff, you're just such a super connector. I'm like, what are they talking about? It's like, well, I meet people and I feel like this desire, this need, like I know someone immediately you need to know. And I can't contain that. And I didn't realize it's almost like a style of personality that naturally comes as a gift to certain people. And I think that's really where you could land as a connector, a super connector, more than anything. Whereas some people have to work really hard at it and they've become good. And that's awesome too. The idea is, wow, I want everyone to know who I know because the people I'm willing to shout into the room about really do need to know each other. And I want you to do business with them and I want you to succeed further. Like, I just see this vision for so many people doing phenomenal things. And I'm like, wait, I'm going to drag you kicking and screaming to success, whether it's like a sacrifice for me or not. And I know I have the ability to do that, to bring you your next client, to bring your next coach, to bring your next, like something like infrastructure for your company. And so that's like, I guess, where it all got invented. And the idea that you told me of was like, I want not just like be the personal reason why I create the next million connections, but inspire for a million connections to be made. And that's even cooler because you're carrying a much bigger, like, oh, I can throw a pebble in a pond and create this ripple. You're like throwing bags and bags and bags of rocks in the pond to create this, like, this infrastructure of being able to really inspire, encourage, network the heck out of all the connectors, which is this is like world changing because
I think
let's
it
just
is.
call it
We
what it
can
is.
launch a
You're not here in the
movement.
States.
Yeah, for sure. I see this as a global movement of connectors where people, if you think about young people today, many of them haven't found their purpose. They're a bit lost. They think AI is taking their jobs. Now, what am I going to do with my life? And I want to show them there is a path to become a connector, to become an introducer, a super connector, where that becomes a side hustle or it can even become a real career path where you literally connect people, create value, help others, and get paid and actually monetize in a positive way where you're not taking advantage of anyone. You're actually creating value and receiving value. So I want to show that to the world, share that message. And so obviously the podcast I'm doing is about sharing that message that loads and loads of people have become super connectors and they're making loads of money, right? And they're helping others. It's all coming from the heart, from a purpose, from passion and mission, and just love to bring people together, but also find a way to pay their bills and pay their mortgage and actually create value for themselves. And so it's really
Right.
finding that balance. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love this so much. Oh, you know what? I know we have so much to talk about though. I want to share your whole story. I want to unveil it all. Tell me, where are you from? Like, did you think you were going to be doing this growing up? Like, did you even go to school for this? Like, what was your first job like? I want to know from the beginning. Wait, I always tell people I was born on a Tuesday night. No, let's not start that early.
I can start, we can go very deep in that rabbit hole, but no, really, I'm a weird alien because I don't have one place. I grew up in a tiny, tiny kingdom in the middle of Europe called Belgium. So I'm French speaking Belgian, but my dad is from LA, California. So I do have a California sunshine inside of me. I grew up as a super nerd. I was in front of computers as a 6 year old. I was programming video games in front of a screen. I was very shy. I was an introvert. I didn't have many friends. I was not very sociable. And so I thought that growing up, my goal was to become a video games programmer so I could be in front of a screen all day so I wouldn't have to talk to humans. That was my vision as a kid. But then life took me in so many weird directions where one of my friends pulled me into a theater group and I started doing theater in front of 300 people. Then I became, a theater star. Then I got on a TV show as a TV show host. Then became a product manager in a tech company, did product presentations in front of 500 journalists. So basically, one thing led to another, and I became a professional presenter, professional talker, and I just enjoyed the energy of the crowd for some reason, even though I'm a super shy nerd, right? So very strange twist of fate. But then about 10 years ago, I started working in business development for a small tech company. And I didn't want to spend my whole day cold calling people, cold
Oh,
emailing people. I thought that
yeah.
was just not a great thing to do. And so someone invited me to my first ever networking event. And I walked into a room full of strangers, went to the bar to order a Coca-Cola or whatever, started chatting with the guy next to me. And all of a sudden we had so much fun, so many, we found so much in common. I started talking to everyone else in the room. And very quickly I worked the room and I
Yeah.
realized, wow, this is so much fun. I can help all these people by giving them advice or connecting them, introducing them. And then one thing led to another. I became a professional networker and went to 1,000 networking events.
No way.
Crazy. Over 2.5
Yeah.
years, 15 events a week, 3 events a day, every single day for 2.5 years.
Where? Were these in person?
I was in London in person,
Oh, okay, okay. It's huge population right there.
crazy.
Possible.
And just doing that, I built a pipeline of $7 million of business, purely
Oh my
networking,
gosh.
zero cold calls, zero cold emails. So I figured out that's where the value is. That's where the gold mine is networking, connecting people, introducing people. So that was a complete revelation to me. Like, wow, this is so cool. And you're having fun. You're meeting amazing people. I drank way too much red wine for sure over 2.5 years. But you know what? It was worth it. It was like the social energy I got from it was incredible. And then something very strange happened, something unexpected. I started meeting some people who define themselves as networkers. And on their business card, it said networker.
No
And that was
way.
like, wow, what is that? And those
Yeah.
networkers, they're literally paid big bucks to just go to networking events one after another to figure out information about people, to figure out who could be a potential client or who could introduce me to a client. And all these networkers, literally work the room and create a kind of trusted circle of super networkers who then the next day all go for coffee to send each other leads and referrals. And
No way.
I knew nothing about this. This was like a secret society I'd never heard of, like a mafia. And I was
Right.
fascinated. And so I started trying to build trust with these people by sending them leads and introductions. And they started trusting me. And I got inserted in the secret circle of super networkers. And I became one of them. It was incredible. So that blew my mind,
Oh
completely
my,
blew
that's blowing my mind. I didn't even
my mind.
think
I
like
was crazy,
that's
right? Absolutely
wait,
crazy.
what, how long ago was this? This is
This was
like a
about
for
10
real
years ago,
thing.
about 10, 12 years ago. Yeah.
What? This is crazy. Did that like go away with COVID? I mean, like
No,
we
no,
weren't
not at
allowed to
all.
do
So
anything here in the
obviously during
States.
COVID, it all became online, but now it's
Ah,
back in person. People are
yeah.
craving in-person networking even more than before COVID, obviously. So now it's kind of everything's about in-person networking. So that whole movement is growing. But what I realized is a lot of these super networkers, super connectors, the thing is they pay each other referral commissions sometimes on success. If you introduce them to a client, they'll pay you 10% or whatever. But a lot of that is done a bit under the table as a gentleman's agreement, like a
Yeah.
brown envelope. There might be a bunch of emails back and forth, maybe not. Maybe there's a signed referral agreement, maybe not. It's kind of this weird, vague, wishy washy thing between all these connectors. And I realized this was, again, 10, 12 years ago. If only there was a platform to make it more transparent and more scalable, where everything is tracked over time to make sure people get paid referral commissions, etc. And I realized that, excuse me, that didn't exist. And so that's how I had the epiphany, the idea where I need to build this. I need to build a real platform, a real product to track introductions, to make sure introducers are rewarded for the value they bring. And so today, my passion and mission is to do that and bring that to the millions.
Oh, that is so cool. That is cool. But how did that like building something 10 years ago was difficult? Like, did this is something that you've been parked on an idea for so long, and now it's like, wait a minute, I can build this myself with a little bit of AI help right at this point. Like, what were you just being a super networker for the last 10 years until you got to the point where you're like, I'm ready to build this platform?
Be honest, no, when I was networking again 10, 12 years ago, some of the networking events I ended up going to were events for startup founders. So I started surrounding myself with other startup founders who are all very ambitious and super optimistic and super smart. And they're very young, like early 20s. Like I was much older than them. But I realized that they have so much passion, ambition, and think they can change the world. I wanted to be one of them. And I thought if they can do it, I can do it. So it kind of pulled me up, right? To kind of be one of
Yeah.
them. And so I started working again 12 years ago on my startup in my mind, just building this platform for referrals, introductions, et cetera, et cetera. But I didn't have the technical skills to build myself. So through my network and through my networking skills and my introduction skills, I found a developer who was happy to work with me. And I paid him a tiny bit of money, but clear much less than what a normal developer would cost back in the day before AI was a thing. And so he built me a quick prototype again 10, 12 years ago. And I thought I could kind of launch it as a side hustle while I'm still working as a networker. But then I joined this tiny startup. And this startup, I was employee number 6 in Europe, building partnerships for them. And they grew really big. And it's called Zoom video conferencing. So I was employee number 6 in Europe, building the entire Zoom partner program in 35 countries from scratch. And I thought I could do my startup on the side, but clearly that was not the case. Zoom completely exploded. It took my energy, my time, my headspace 24/7. This was pre IPO, pre COVID. Then Zoom had their IPO, then COVID happened. So it went completely crazy. I was working, 100 hours a week. It was like
Oh my
working
god.
7 days a week, till
Right.
midnight every day. Like there was clearly no time or bandwidth for my startup. So I kind of put my startup on the shelf, focused my whole career on Zoom. It was an incredible experience. Absolutely loved it. And Zoom went from 600 employees globally to 9,000. I mean, really exploded from
Wow.
10 million daily active users to 300 million. So that was absolutely bonkers, super crazy, hyper growth. And I learned so much because my job at Zoom was to build partnerships. And a big chunk of those
Oh.
partnerships were referral programs, people sending referrals to Zoom. Zoom would then pay them referral commissions. So again, very similar to that model I had experienced in real life networking. And so again,
Yeah.
this was absolutely fascinating, kind of brought it all together. And so after nearly 6 years at Zoom, I finally left 3 years ago to work full time on my startup. And so that's how it all happened. Yeah.
That's incredible to think it went from that to oh my gosh. What? What? I love this story so much. There are gotta be some other little, like, moments of inspiration or, like, tell me some of, like, the highs and lows to get you from there because to leave a company that you're doing so well at, your number 6 employee, takes,
Europe. Yeah.
guts, right? Like, and more.
For sure. Listen, I love my journey at Zoom. It was incredible. But the reality is, I want to focus my time on relationships, on partnerships, on building, on helping, meeting all these people. And that was amazing. But a big chunk of it, of the job, the day to day job, the nitty gritty details of it was very much like order processing, putting stuff in a system, resolving issues and problems. So instead of spending all my time relationship building, a lot of it was really solving problems, people complaining all the time, solving conflicts of interest, solving
Mm,
order processing, systems issues. So, it was not really my dream. I mean, I love my experience at Zoom, but the day-to-day job was not really focusing on the relationship as much as I wanted to.
mm,
Um, and obviously I wanted to launch my startup even before I joined Zoom. That was my real goal. So I just had to find the right time, right? And
mm.
the right time was 3 years ago when I decided to leave. And I also wanted to be more involved with other founders. And so I started mentoring startup founders informally while I was at Zoom about 10 years ago. And I just went to like coffees and walks with other founders I met at networking events and just gave them my 2 cents of advice. Hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? I just met these other founders who tried this. Maybe you should try that, and connecting people together. And so over the years, I mentored about 100 different founders, completely informally, like no money exchange. It was just for
Yeah.
fun, just for me to help them. And I really enjoyed that. And so I started investing in other startups. And so I ended up investing in 22 startups. Um, and so really, I wanted to support founders with investment, with advice, with mentorship, and of course, with introductions. Obviously, that's what I'm working on. So that's a big chunk of it. Learning from other founders' mistakes, so I would
Yeah.
not make those mistakes myself. But
Oh,
everyone says
yeah.
that, but I still made a million mistakes. Obviously, as an early stage founder, you make every mistake in the book, even though you've sworn to yourself you'll never make those mistakes, you make them anyway.
100%. It's like you don't know what you know, early stage founder, unless you came from
Exactly.
other things where you got to learn. That's
Yeah.
why I tell people, "Hey, listen, you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay for the ignorance, you're gonna pay for the education. Get someone to show you the way to avoid those potholes," you
Yeah.
know? So being able to mentor people, that's so fulfilling. I can't even imagine all the amazing founders that you've gotten to meet, let alone from being just local where you're at, but the power of Zoom to be able to do this across the world is what's a little lost sleep, that's fine.
Exactly. But to be honest, no, I still much prefer in person, of course, rather than Zoom. I mean, I love Zoom is great, but if I can choose, I always prefer an in-person event. So I still spend a lot of my time networking in person, even in the age of Zoom. I still go out of my way to go to a bunch of networking events as much as I can. And nowadays, I'm in London, I'm in New York, I'm in San Francisco, in the Bay Area. So I travel back and forth, and I network every time I go somewhere, I always network, right? I go out of my way to meet other startup founders, meet other super connectors, and create that kind of sense of community among other super connectors and see how we can help each other.
Oh, that's so important. I love that so much because I feel the same. I just want to tell people there's a little bit of a system. There's like a little bit of oomph if you can just try a tiny bit, like a couple of scripts. Let me give you some confidence. Like there's so many different ways that people are like, "How are you like this?" I'm like, "It could be natural or it could be a script. Who cares? You make it you as you go along." Um, this is so fun. Can I ask you? You are working so much on all this and you're flying everywhere. And don't get me wrong, it's fun, but it's still a lot of work. Like, why
Mm.
do you keep showing up? Why do you keep doing what you do?
So going back to my spiritual mission in life is to connect millions of people and to inspire millions of people to become super connectors. So that's really my why. That's why I wake up every day. That's why, I want to do what I'm doing. And I want to build a movement. I mean, my impact on the world, hopefully in a couple of years, will be to create this movement of millions of people who they change their career trajectory to
Yeah.
become introducers and connectors. That is really the bigger picture. I want to create impact for millions of people to who are lost, who haven't found their purpose, who are bored in life, who don't know what to do. Say, actually, I could become a connector. That sounds like fun. Connecting people is great. I feel great when I connect people. Why not make a job out of it? So I want to create that movement. And so that's really my big why. That's why I do everything I do, right? It's really to launch that movement, to inspire more people to do TikTok videos, Instagram videos, YouTube videos, LinkedIn, and influence as many people as possible to focus on that journey. And so really, I realized that's really the bigger purpose, right? That's really what it's all about. And obviously enjoying it, having fun. Like as a startup founder, you wear 25 hats. You do everything. I do product, I do marketing, I do PR, I do events, I do like development, tech, legal, recruitment. It's all of it. So 2 days are never the same. Like every one of my days is completely different from each other, and you never know what's going to hit you. As a founder, you get so many obstacles thrown into your face every single week, and you never know where it's going to come from because it could be
Nope.
any issue. But you know that you're going to stay resilient, you're going to smile, and you're going to figure it out because you know what your bigger picture is. It's not about the nitty gritty. You want to focus on that North Star. For me, that's what it's about. But in the meantime, I focus on lots of side projects to help me in that mission. So I love to do free masterclasses to teach people how to network. So I've done a bunch of networking masterclasses to, again, share my 10, 15 years of experience networking to 1,000 networking events. And I've had so much positive feedback about that. Like, everyone loves to network, but
Yeah.
lots of people are introverts, a bit shy, don't know where to go, don't know what to say. If I walk in a room full of strangers, who should I talk to? What should I say first? What's an icebreaker? So everyone is looking for tips and tricks and pointers. And so I'm happy to share all that information completely free. Like I never want to monetize this. This is like free information. I just want to share my experience. And I've seen the result. I've seen so many people who were literally inspired by that and
Huh.
became networkers and connectors. So I feel that's part of my mission, is to help people up their networking game. And then part of that is help people improve their reputation and personal brand by making more introductions for others. Everyone's
Right.
looking for clients. What is the best way to get clients is to elevate your reputation and personal brand. How do you do that? You help other people by introducing them to great people. So it's kind of a virtuous circle. The more you help
Right.
others, the more you help yourself.
I love that so much. I love this. I love this. At this point, people are thinking, I want to know, Mike. How do we find, like, what's your favorite way for people to reach out to you? Cause they're like, I need to know this guy so much.
I'm on LinkedIn. So I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. That's my favorite platform. So just follow me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn handle is Super Mike. So very easy to remember. So if you just go to LinkedIn, type Super Mike, you'll find me, or linkedin.com/in/Super Mike. And that's where you're going to find all my videos, my posts, my podcasts. And I've done hundreds of videos, had millions of views, where I just share like tips and tricks on networking, on connecting people, how to become a super connector as a side hustle, all that kind of stuff. And then we've built this incredible community of super connectors, which is called IntroStars. So
Yeah.
it's called IntroStars because introducers are stars. They create opportunities for everyone around them, like a shiny star. And so the website is introstars.com, and it's free to sign up. Just join the community.
Oh, I love that. I love that you created this community too. And you're giving away so much good advice. I love all the stuff that you're working on because I didn't realize this wasn't natural to people until they were like, "Tiff, this is not my thing." I'm like, "Well, just go find something to talk to them about." And they're like, "You don't even know." So I love that you're making this like accessible for people that don't feel like it is for them, like a ton. Um, oh gosh, I only have a couple more questions left for you.
Go for it.
Um, what's, I know you're working on this incredible thing, your brand new website, IntroStars, to make this platform. Like, what else is next? What's on the horizon for you too?
Yeah. So IntroStars right now, we've built a community in London and New York. So it's very local because we do lots of in-person events so people can actually build a real relationship. And we encourage that, of course. So right now it's only London and New York, but we are about to expand to the San Francisco Bay Area, Silicon Valley, baby, the first week of June this year. So very soon. And
Yes.
so, yeah, we want to build a movement, East Coast, West Coast, and obviously, next year, we're going to launch in many more cities and take over the world. But we decided to create IntroStars as a hyper local community because I truly believe it's easier to trust someone if they live in the same city as you, because you can meet them face to face for coffee and build that relationship. And so we're creating literally chapters of super connectors in each city. We're doing events together. We're doing dinners. We're doing podcasts. So it's super fun. So really next for me is really launching the San Francisco Bay Area. And we're doing a bunch of launch parties, rooftop parties for super connectors. So it's going to be really fun. We're going to do a kind of road trip of super connector rooftop parties. So
Oh,
yeah.
I love it. I love it. I know. We are recording this May 2026, and we're like looking at this event coming up June 2026. So we're going to publish this so that way everybody can know about all of this.
Yeah.
And this is so fun. So, I can't believe time has flown so quickly. But I only have one more question for you, and it's like, what is your golden nugget, like your little chunk of wisdom that we can leave everybody with to wrap up the show?
If you ever go to any networking event and you start to chat with someone, the number one thing you should ask them, and remember this, is what is the best introduction I could make for you? That is the
Oh,
best question you can ask someone else. So instead of you talking about yourself for an hour, let them talk about who they would like to meet, because then they're going to see that you're a helper. You're there to help them. You help them. You're there to make them more successful. And that will go a very long way to improve your personal brand, your relationship with that person, and building trust with someone. And so
yeah.
that's my golden nugget. Everyone you meet, always ask them, what is the best intro I can make for you? And of course, follow up. Obviously, after they tell you, say, okay, I know someone. I'll make the intro right now. Bam. I think that's really the golden nugget.
I love that golden nugget so much. I only have one golden nugget as a connector to connector. Whenever I'm in live events, I straight up say, "Can we selfie right now?" And I selfie with them like, "What's your phone number?" So that way at the end of the night, I've text everyone their picture and they remember who I am. And I'm like, let's hop on a calendar meet so we don't have a choice. Be like, oh, I don't want to LinkedIn connect them. Like, let's go. Let's go. So it's just so fun. So
That's a great
thank
golden
you
nugget,
so
by the way.
much.
I love it. Yeah, really good. Yeah.
You've been wonderful to talk to. I'm so excited for your IntroStars startup, the platform. I'm excited for the invite to come to the, if I can even make it, the San Francisco thing. And then, guys, listen, go follow Super Mike on LinkedIn because he has great content. He's putting out a ton of stuff I can't even explain to you. He does it and puts it into amazing words for you, scripting and whatnot for you to be able to network like how we network together. And
Yeah.
he's been doing this way longer than me. So definitely listen to him. And I appreciate everybody who's listening right now on the podcast. I thank you so much for your time. Look forward to seeing you in another episode. And I look forward to talking to you soon again, Mike. Bye,
Thanks so much,
everybody.
Tiff.